Hey, in case you don't know by now, my name is Adam, and I am the founder of Texting Prince, helping men text smarter, date better, and get their girl. In this video, this is video number 3. This is going to talk about the 3 big myths that most men believe. I used to believe all 3 of these that get in the way of success with women, and how you, yes, you sitting here, no matter what, why you will be successful when you use this new method. So here we go. Let's get started. Now, video 1, if you haven't seen that yet, that was all about mistakes most guys make when they first get a girl's number. Those are mistakes that I've been through on my own many times, and I see guys make those same mistakes, and it has to do with seeming needy and seeming predictable over your texting. And that gets you friend zoned, or it just gets her attraction level to go down, down, down. Video 2 is all about what guys, like the bad boys or the jerks, what they figured out that works with women. And that is all about getting women's emotions involved. And so video 2 talked about how you can do that, how you can get her emotions involved, get her excited to text you without being a dickhead, without being a jerk. And now here we go. Video 3, this is going to squash some of those myths you may have thought and show you why no matter what, no matter how much money you have, no matter how good looking you feel you are, and no matter how old you are, why you can be successful and why this will work for you. All right, so 3 myths that I used to believe, and I used to get stuck in these thoughts thinking that I would never be good with girls, never be good with women, because it just wasn't happening for me. It didn't happen to me for my first 18 years of my life. So I thought, just like you see kind of in the movies, I thought you had to be rich. You had to have money, or you had to be good looking like Brad Pitt, or you had to be a certain age. I always thought I was too young, or now that I'm older, sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm too old for someone younger. So these 3 things got in my way, and they get in most guys' way. So let me squash these for you. So the first one here, money. Now this was big. Now, that is complete myth. You do not need money to be good with women. Will it help? Of course, it can always help, but you don't need money. And I am living proof. And here's why. For the last 5 years of my life, before I started this company, I was a 2nd grade public school teacher. Now, to give you an idea of how much money I made after I got my master's degree, so I had to pay for my master's degree to go back to school. After I got my master's degree, I was still making, my last year I was teaching public education before I left, I was making about $38,000. About $38,000 a year. That might be more than you make. That also could very possibly be way less than you make. And the reason I want to show you that is living proof for 5 years. And you got to understand too, I didn't even see a way that I would have any more money. So I thought I was stuck making a public school teacher salary for the rest of my life. And so if I hadn't learned all the skills I learned, especially early on in college, about how to get better with women, I probably would have thought I'll never get a girl that I want because of money, because that used to be a sticking point for me. That used to be something that got in the way that I thought was a big deal. But what I found out is you don't need money. What you do need is, if you don't have money, and again, it's not that important, what you do need though is having, might be hard for you to see that, goals. A goal or goals. It doesn't even have to be a money goal. But the cool thing about this is what women want is, if you don't have money and you're your life looks like it's set, but you're not looking to improve it at all, then women's attraction will drop for you. So in that case, money could be an issue for you. But if you don't have that much money, if you just have a goal instead, it doesn't matter how much money you have, and it's It's a weird thing to think of, but women will give guys the benefit of the doubt if they see that the guy has something he's aspiring towards, a goal. Because that tells her that no matter where you're at right here, if I was making $38,000, that doesn't, if I'm a guy that is willing to grow and has these goals, she knows that long term, if I need something, I'm going to go after it and I'm going to get it. I'm going to provide. And women love knowing that a man can provide. So if you don't have money, just start making goals in your life. Have goals, and that will put you in this category where she's like, she doesn't just say, this guy's a loser, he has no money. She goes, oh, this guy's in a transition phase. He's going places. And my example here is when I was a teacher, I literally never thought I would ever create this company. I didn't think I was going to teach guys how to date better. I thought that I was going to teach my entire life, but my goal was, and I always saw this, was girls knew I would spend hours upon hours outside of my traditional work day working on stuff for my classroom, making my projects better, working on lesson plans, grading papers, giving better feedback to kids. And in my head, I was going to completely change the public education system. I didn't know when I was going to do it. I just knew my long-term goal was I'm going to make a huge difference on public education in the United States. That was my goal, and I was so focused. And so how I was doing that was I was spending all sorts of extra hours per week trying to hone my craft, trying to get better at it. But what girls would see then is they wouldn't see the school teacher salary. They saw this guy has bigger goals. And I never had a bigger money goal. I just had a bigger goal of helping more people, reaching more people. So again, money is not important. You don't need it. However, if you have it, it can help, of course. But this was a big relief for me knowing you don't need to have money. Just have a goal. Pop quiz question 1. You don't need money as long as you set a big blank for yourself. So with women, to be attractive, you don't need money. Yes, it helps. You don't need it as long as you set a big goal for yourself. Because remember, if you don't have money and you don't have goals, she might go, okay, this guy has nothing going for him, or he's a loser. You might, that assumption might be correct. But if you have goals, you are a guy that is always moving towards something, you're always growing. She knows then that if money becomes an issue ever, that you will set a goal to achieve because you're the type of guy that always grows. So she won't be worried about money with you. And you have another cheerleader here saying, you're my favorite. She even gave you a wink face. I think she likes you. Now the second thing, good looks here. That's another one that I get where guys are like, well, yeah, but if I was better looking, or if I weighed less, or I did this, or I did that. The best way I can explain this one is, well, good looks are so small to women, but what does matter is your status or status and confidence does matter. Good looks do not. And of course, I can't take you back to my early days learning this, but when I was 18, when I was really starting this, I was this scrawny little kid, never worked out before. I had acne. I had braces for all 4 years of college. And that was, if you've seen some of my videos where I have these old videos of me with girls back in college, for 4 years, I had braces on and I had acne for probably 2 of those years. Bottom line is, looks were not my strong suit, but I had game. And so good looks are not necessary. They help, of course, just like money, it helps, but you don't need good looks. What you do need is status and confidence. Those two things I can teach you how to show through your texting, or how to kind of develop that into your life. That right there is learnable. And I know that because I learned both of those things. Good looks, not necessary. Status and confidence are. If the worse you feel about your looks, just the more status, the more confidence you'll just have to learn. So that will be an important skill for you. But you're definitely never out of the game. Women love a man that's confident and has this status about him, this aura about him. And that raises your attraction level big time in a woman's eyes. So good looks, not necessary. Question 2. The less good looking you are, the more focus you should put on building your blank and blank. The less good looking you feel you are, the more focus you should put on building these two things. It is your status and your confidence, and yes, those both can be built. And the tricky thing is here is it's all about how good looking you feel you are. The less good looking you feel you are, the more you'll have to work on this, because even if you are good looking or you're not good looking, who knows? It's all relative, but it all depends on how you perceive yourself. So the less good looking you feel you are, the more focus you should put on these two things. If you feel like you're a good looking guy, that's awesome. I'm glad you feel confident in that. You won't have to focus as much on building the status that I will be teaching you in the 5 principles. You're so dreamy. That is her words, not mine. So take the compliment, but don't worry. That's from her, not me. And then this last one, age here. A lot of guys that will go into my programs are older, mid-30s, mid-40s, sometimes 50s. I always was on the younger route with this stuff. When I was learning this stuff when I was 21 years old, that used to be something that I thought would be a sticking point, was my age. I could only get, because in high school, I remember all the girls my age wanted to go for the older guys. So when I was 21, the first time I hooked up with a girl that was 29 years old, so it was an 8 years difference, that broke me to a new level. I didn't realize that was possible before. Because as a guy, I was always, especially in high school, remember, girls were always going for the older guys. I could never get them. So when I finally was able to get an older girl, an older woman, that was the start for it. So now flipping that on the other side, if you're an older guy, you can get women, because naturally women are more attracted to older men, because older men usually have status. They usually have their careers under control more than guys their age. So if you're an older man, you just know this from looking around. You see like Hugh Hefner before he died. You can just tell that, yeah, a lot of times younger women will be attracted to older men. So that's good. If you're an older man, awesome. But the beautiful thing is, if you're an older man, then when we're talking about texting, the great thing for you is going to be to show her that you also have a younger side. So if you're a younger guy, you're going to want to show her that you also have more of a responsible side, like you have your life under control. And if you're an older guy, you're going to want to show her that you have more of like a playful side, because she doesn't want to date some old fart, but she wants, if there's an older man that has his life together and is playful and fun, she's going to be like all about you. Question 3. True or false? You are stuck dating only a certain age group of women depending on how old you are. So is that true or false? You're kind of stuck in an age group of women. If you're an older guy, you're only going to be able to attract these older women. If you're a younger guy, you're only going to be able to attract younger women. That is false. Now, I really did used to get stuck in this mindset, but just to give you an example, and I know this just to show you the possibilities, in the past year, so I'm 29 right now. In the past year, I have slept with a 21-year-old and a 43-year-old, just to give you that age range gap. There's just different ways you play, because older women like certain traits, younger women like certain traits. You just tweak your game a little bit, but the beautiful thing is you can connect with women of all ages, and I'm excited for you to get that as well. That is the end of the quiz. Oh, perfect score. Woo! She is really impressed by your intelligence. Keep it up. Keep learning. So anyway, these 3 things were things that used to get in the way for me. I hope this helped at least show you, okay, maybe those aren't everything. Because it's the honest truth, man. None of that stuff really matters. If you really understand this stuff, none of that matters.